Never go to the second location. Always trust your gut.
Hello, my name is Chrissy Champagne. You are listening to Residue, a true crime podcast dedicated to keeping you paranoid. Residue is not just another true crime podcast, but a necessary tool for those who want to understand the dangers lurking in the real world. And as you guys might already know, we are now switching up the format for Residue. We're niching down. We are going to concentrate on movies, made-for-TV movies or theatrical releases that were inspired by true crimes. And then I will tell you the true story behind that film. You know that Residue is created, hosted, written, researched, edited, and produced by me, Chrissy Champagne. I'm doing it all by myself here, guys, so thank you so much for joining me. You can also join me on Instagram at Residue Podcast, Facebook, Residue A True Crime Podcast, or TikTok at Residue Podcast. And as I always say, the best thing you could possibly do for any podcast that you love is leave a 5-star review. Okay, before we get started, I have to sing just to remind you to follow the show. I know I was singing songs with the word follow in it for a while and I've kind of run out. So I'm just going to go through my Apple playlist of all the artists that I have in here. And I'm going to randomly stop on one. I'm not even going to look. Who is it? Oh my God. It's Marcus King. One day she's here, the next she's gone. Yeah, I can't do that. That was a hard one. I love that song though. Okay, so yeah, one day I'm here and you can go follow me and I'll be here every single Tuesday. So last week and the week before, I gave you Diane Downs. That really wrecked me. The book is amazing by Anne Rule, but wow, what a rough 2 weeks having that lady in my head. So this time, something a little lighter. We are going to be talking about an HBO movie named The Positively True Adventures of the Alleged Texas Cheerleading-Murdering Mom. And that is the wrong title because I will never, ever, ever be able to get this title right on the first try. Let's try it again. The Positively True Adventures of the Alleged Texas Cheerleader-Murdering Mom. Whew. And this movie stars Holly Hunter in a fantastic role as the real-life Wanda Holloway. The Positively True Adventures of the Alleged Texas Cheerleader-Murdering Mom is a biological black comedy television film that aired in 1993 on HBO. Directed by Michael Ritchie and written by Jane Anderson, the film features standout performances by Holly Hunter, Beau Bridges, and Swoosie Kurtz. Wanda Holloway is obsessed with ensuring her daughter, Shanna, becomes a cheerleader, a goal she wasn't allowed to pursue herself. And when Shanna is repeatedly denied a spot on the squad, Rhonda's jealousy spirals into something far darker. The film received overwhelmingly positive reviews for its intelligence and its biting satire, and Entertainment Weekly described the tone as a take on suburban absurdity, while People magazine appreciated the performances but questioned its overall purpose. Rotten Tomatoes scores it at an impressive 91%, with critics praising its blend of dark humor and disturbing reality. And today, we will be talking about the very disturbing reality behind this black comedy film. The film earned critical acclaim and several awards. The Primetime Emmys, Holly Hunter for lead actress, Beau Bridges for supporting actor, and Jane Anderson for writer all won. And the film received multiple nominations. And Beau Bridges also won a Golden Globe. And this isn't just a darkly funny true crime adaptation. It's a satire on how real tragedy becomes tabloid entertainment. Wanda Webb was born in 1954 and grew up in Channelview, Texas. And now Channelview, Texas is part of the Southeast Texas vibrant Friday night lights football culture. And now, to really understand Wanda Webb, you have to understand that she's growing up around all of this football culture, and all she really wants in life is to be a cheerleader. But she is not allowed. because Wanda is raised in a very strict Baptist religious household, and her father said, no, there will be no cheerleading. Wanda wasn't really allowed to do the things that most teenage girls are doing. She wasn't allowed to, go to the high school dances or date. And so she tried really hard to fit in. She was a very bubbly personality. She was an overachiever. She wanted everyone to like her. And maybe sometimes everyone didn't like her, but that could be because she was trying so hard to fit in. In high school, Wanda meets Tony Harper. She's only 16 when she gets pregnant with Tony's baby. So these two get married real quick. Wanda graduates high school, and a week later, the two of them are already married. They're married by 1972, and in 1973, they have their first baby named Shane. And this is when Tony goes to work and Wanda becomes a stay-at-home mom. And she was obsessed with being a mother. You know what she wasn't obsessed with? Her husband, Tony. Now, these two did not have the greatest relationship, not even from the start. But Wanda got pregnant and she wasn't married, so the two had to get married. But these two were known to fight like crazy. They were extremely toxic, always fighting. They were always taking jabs at each other, even in front of other people. And Wanda was disappointed because she didn't think this is what marriage was supposed to be like. And it didn't take long for the infidelity to just kick in. Tony wanted to have sex all the time, and Wanda didn't like having sex. Wanda would do it if she had to. She didn't like it. She didn't care for it. So Tony found it elsewhere. And it didn't help that Tony was making a lot of money. And when he started making a lot of money, he started feeling really superior. In 1977, Wanda becomes pregnant with her daughter, Shanna. In 1980, when Shanna was only 3, Wanda and Tony get a divorce. Wanda and Tony stayed married for 8 years, but by the end of May 1980, it was over. As an adult, Shanna says, looking back, that her mother learned to fight dirty from her father, Tony. And on that note, I must tell you that my main source for today's episode was the documentary, The Texas Cheerleader Murder Plot. I saw it on Prime. You can find it on Investigation Discovery, but this is basically Shanna's side of the story. So when Wanda had Shanna, her whole focus changed. Like all of her energy is now put right into Shanna. And Shanna says that her mother was her world, her best friend. She made things run around the house. She made things good. She made everyone happy. By age 3, Shanna is already in the lifestyle of go, go, go. There's never any time to rest. Her mom has her signed up for dance, gymnastics. She takes ballet, tap, jazz. She takes piano lessons, art lessons. She's taking cheer and gymnastics 3 times a week. It was just constant go. Wanda even turned the family's garage into a cheer studio, and the second that Shanna walks in from school every day, she has to go straight to the garage and practice her cheer routines. And the kicker to this whole story is that Shanna's least favorite activity was cheer. She didn't understand cheerleading. She didn't know why they needed girls on the sideline cheering for the boys. Her quote was actually, "Doing jumps on the side of the field and trying to get people interested in football, is that really necessary?" And you know what? I agree with you, Shanna. Now, Shanna says she knows nothing about football. She had no idea. She would have panic attacks and not even know it because she felt this dread. And one day she made a comment to her mother. She said, "Hey, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't really like it." Yeah, but Wanda didn't care. She said, "Listen, I have sacrificed a lot. We have sacrificed a lot for you to be doing this. So you're going to keep doing it." And Shanna says when she was a kid, she was this spitfire. She was independent. She was a leader, and she loved dancing. She loved ballet, painting, piano. And one day her mom said that she wanted her to be a cheerleader. And Shanna was like, "What is that?" And when her mom told her, they help cheer for the football team, Shanna's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll try that. I'll add one more thing to my really long roster of after-school activities." And as she got older, she realized, she's going to have to stick it out. Wanda basically believed that being a cheerleader was your ticket to being somebody. But the problem is that Wanda wasn't the only mom in town that wanted her daughter to get that ticket to being somebody. There was another family in town named the Heaths. And now Shanna went to school with a girl named Amber Heath. Amber and Shanna become really fast friends. Like, they become best friends really quickly. They go to the same private school and they realize in school that they actually live on the same street. They live right by each other. And now their families become friends. Amber's mother, Verna, she starts helping Wanda out because now Wanda's a single mom. And Verna is like, hey, why don't I help you out and drive the kids to school sometimes? And then Shanna and Amber would have sleepovers every weekend. Shanna even says that she actually had her first ever crush on Amber's brother. So it's that vibe of having your best friend live in your neighborhood when you're younger. And Amber was just like Shanna. She had been enrolled in dance class since age 3. She was an award-winning baton twirler. She was also in private school. So perfect. They're perfect best friends. But that is until they became rivals. Spring 1989, Shanna is in 6th grade. She's 11 years old. She is taken out of private school and placed into a public school. And this is because there were rules in Channelview, Texas. Now, if you wanted to be a cheerleader, even at age 11, you have to attend a public school in the area. You can't be in a private school. And even if you're in the public school, you're not guaranteed a tryout. Your name is placed into some bucket, I don't know, a hat, and your name is drawn. If your name is drawn and you're one of the lucky ones, you get to try out. Amber is still in private school. And let me tell you, Amber is a kick-ass athlete. Amber's a great cheerleader. So Wanda starts thinking, you know what? We got this. We're going to get this spot on the cheerleading team because Amber can't try out. Amber's in private school. Now, I'm pretty sure during this tryout in 6th grade, there was only one spot left on the team. So Wanda just thought they had it in the bag until they see Verna and Amber come walking into the gymnasium for tryouts. And Wanda's like, what the hell are they doing here? She goes to private school, like she's freaking out. And come to find out that Verna went to the school district and she's like, listen, I got this kid. She's in private school, but I would like to ask if it's okay that she still tries out. And they were like, yeah, sure, that's cool. And Wanda lost her damn mind. So now we have this woman who feels like, hey, I've been playing everything by the rules. I'm doing it the way you're supposed to do it. How dare she come in and, sneak in? I would just be pissed that I didn't think of that first, So Shanna doesn't make the cheer team that year, but they still have 1990. And 1990 is something that Shanna calls the ruler incident. And this is because this is a year that more spots were available on the squad. But this time, you had to be screened by a team of college cheerleaders. And this is not to make the team. This is just to be able to become a candidate, to even get a tryout. They are in 7th grade. This blows my mind. So Shanna makes it. These college cheerleaders were like, hey, yeah, good to go. You're good to go, girl. You're awesome. And Shanna is ready to go for tryouts. But they make it even more complicated. So now at tryouts, it's the students that vote for you. And you can act like you're running for president in this school, but you're just trying to get a cheerleading tryout. So now the students are going to judge you and you're allowed to hang up posters and kind of like present yourself. It's a popularity contest is all it is. But one of the biggest rules is that you can't bribe people. So you can't hand out money, candy, anything at all. And Wanda went and had these rulers made up. And on the rulers, it said vote for Shanna. And that was another thing. You weren't allowed to have anything, I believe, besides the posters that you could hang that said stuff like vote for Shanna, vote for Amber. That was out of the question. But Shanna just bought all of these rulers and the school district was like, no, you can't use them. So she's pissed. So she makes posters for Shanna. And they look like little cheer posters that just say vote for Shanna, but she wanted kids to hold them up during the competition. So she thought, oh, I don't have any sticks for these posters, so I'll use the rulers that I bought. And she glued all of the rulers to these posters. And somebody found out at the school. They called Shanna into the office. They called Wanda in. They were like, what are you doing? We see what you're doing. Now the kids have these posters, but they have rulers. And so they think they're giving the kids gifts. And then Shanna is disqualified. And okay, this is what pushes Wanda over the edge. She's like, this is bullshit. This woman, her kid doesn't even go to a public school, but she's allowed to do this. I do one thing wrong, my kid's disqualified. She's beyond pissed. And this is when Wanda starts saying strange things around her daughter. She'll say things randomly to Shanna like, wouldn't it be so much easier if Verna and Amber just weren't around? And Shanna just kind of pushed these statements to the back of her mind. She's like, I don't know. I don't know why my mom would say that. I don't want to think about that. I don't know what she means. This is when Wanda's plan kicks in. That year at Christmas, Shanna had to go to her dad's family's house for Christmas. So Wanda gives Shanna a note and she says, I want you to give this to your Uncle Terry when you're at the dinner. She doesn't know what's on the note, but they're at dinner. She hands it to her uncle. And this is when her uncle calls the police station and tells them, my sister-in-law is looking for a hitman to kill her neighbor. Terry Harper. He is the ex-brother-in-law of Wanda. Now, Terry had a lot of issues with the law starting from age 13. He was arrested for possession of marijuana. He was the black sheep in the family. He's in and out of jail all of the time. He has DUIs, but this man is not a killer. Yeah, he's got a lengthy record, but he's not a hitman. He doesn't know people that are going to take out her neighbor. Terry starts to meet with this guy named Flint Blackwell, and he was the cop who arrested Wanda. Terry called his undercover office. He talked to Flint Blackwell. He said, let's set up a meeting. So they meet with Terry and they ask him to call Wanda so they can listen. And he did. And the very first call that he makes to Wanda, he's getting her to admit that she wants this lady taken out. I got the call and I was going to add it to this episode, but it is so difficult to hear. So I'm just going to read some of the call to you. So in the phone call, Terry's just going along with what Wanda wants. And he gets on the phone with her. Wanda says, okay, what's the deal? Tell me the scoop. And Terry says, well, that's what I need to know from you. Terry says, the guy said he don't like doing children. All right. Terry then starts telling Wanda that it would be $5,000 to kill Amber, but $2,500 for the mother. Wanda says, the mother, she ain't worth crap, is she? And then cackles like the most sinister laugh you've ever heard. Wanda then talks out loud thinking, you know what, maybe I should go with the mother, because if I go with the mother, then the kid will be really depressed and really sad and she really won't be able to cheer. So yeah, maybe this will mess with her mind. These are real things that this woman said on a recorded phone call that police heard. And she will try to fight her way off of that stand when she is on trial because she is going to spin this story like you've never seen. So the police have Terry meet with Wanda a couple times. They have really great evidence on recorded calls, but they don't have any payment. Wanda hasn't paid for anything. And they're scared now that, you know what, she might go to someone else and have them do it. And then we can't help. And then Verna is like harmed. So they decide, you know what, Terry, you got to get her to give you something, anything. And so he starts talking about diamond earrings. He tells Wanda, listen, you got to give me something, a little down payment so that the guy knows you're really serious. So Wanda does give him a pair of really expensive diamond earrings. And this is when the cops are like, okay, we got her. The very next day, the police get a search warrant for Wanda's home and they arrive at her house to arrest her. They sat in front of her house waiting for her. Shanna even tells a story about how she was in her cheer practice garage doing her cheers and she could see this car that had been sitting outside of her house all day. Her mom was out shopping or something and she saw this car with two men. She even got scared thinking these men were going to kidnap her, but they were the police waiting for Wanda to come home. Wanda gets home and the cops, they walk right up to her and they're like, listen, you're under arrest for solicitation of capital murder. And she's like, oh, really? Am I going to jail? Well, let me go change my clothes for a minute. And the officer is like, hell no, you're not changing anything. And she's like, well, I need to call my husband because he has to get me an attorney. So they do let her call her husband. And they say that, I mean, she wasn't worried at all. She wasn't nervous. She thought this is nothing to be worried about. But Shanna, on the other hand, is saying that this is when her whole world just fell apart. And this case blows up. I mean, it is everywhere. Wanda is immediately dubbed the pom-pom mom. And I can't even say that. Sorry. And she makes the news. I mean, everywhere. Takes over the nation. And Shanna is chased by media while she's at school. She even says that a close friend of hers was selling yearbook photos to the media. She didn't know that was happening. I mean, no one could believe that this woman needed her child to be on a 7th grade cheerleading team so bad that she's going to kill her neighbor and friend, a woman who helped her when she was a single mom, helped her drive the kids to school, helped her with babysitting. Wanda's out on bail, awaiting trial. Shanna says this is a time in her life when she actually remembers going to bed and feeling scared, feeling unsafe. Like, is my mom going to hurt me? Because she wants to hurt other people that we love, we're friends with. Is she going to hurt me because I'm the reason that all of this is happening? Like, maybe if I made the cheer team, none of this would be happening. So that's the way that Shanna saw this. And at the same time that all of this is going down, the news is going crazy. Shanna's father, Tony Harper, he decides to go on to any TV show he can get his ass on. He's on Larry King. He's talking about how he is seeking custody of the children. But Shanna is saying she doesn't feel comfortable with her dad. She didn't respect him. She feared him. The last thing she wants to do is go live with her father. I mean, her mother is her entire world. Okay, opening day of trial at the Harris County Courthouse. The courthouse is jam-packed. Jam-packed. Media is outside. There is no audio allowed inside. So there are camera guys just like outside trying to get a peek through the window just to look in and see. And the star witness for the prosecution was Terry Harper. I mean, he's a great witness. He was able to get everything on tape. He wore a wire to get Wanda to confess, but the jury didn't like him. I mean, Terry had a checkered past. That was brought up a lot. He was a little rough around the edges, and a lot of the jurors said that he just didn't seem like a very nice guy. I mean, honestly, I don't really think his personality mattered much because once they played those tapes, it was like, forget it. Anyone in that courtroom that heard those tapes, I mean, all hell broke loose. Then the tapes were played for the public, and people were pissed. August 28, 1991. So the state rests its case. And now the next day, the defense reveals its star witness, Terry Harper's wife, Marla Harper. Now, Marla Harper is his 6th and 7th wife. So they've only been in a relationship for 2 years. They broke up, they divorced, and then they got back together again and then remarried again within 2 years and then kind of broke up again. So they're sort of separated right now at the time of the trial. She testifies that she's afraid of Terry. He is a vindictive, manipulative, abusive man, and that he threatened her, beat her. He beat her so she wouldn't come to testify this day. And this is when Marla says that Terry framed Wanda. That she believed that Terry disliked Wanda so much because one time Wanda told her ex-husband Tony, Terry's brother, that Terry was hitting on her. And so Tony got mad. Okay, so her story is basically that one time Wanda told on Terry and now Terry's taken her down. Marla basically fashioned this narrative to make it seem like Terry and Tony being Wanda's ex-husband, were in this cahoots together to frame Wanda so she'd go to jail so Tony would get custody of his kids. Okay, but what about the tapes? I mean, she said those things. You can't deny that those words came out of her mouth. I don't know. Seems like a real big stretch for me. If I was on that jury, I'd be like, nah, don't believe it. But let me tell you something. Shanna does believe it. And she thinks that her dad and her uncle set her mother up. Wanda even took the stand in her own defense, and she was tearful. She denied it all. She says that she only went along with the things that Terry was saying to her because she was afraid that if she didn't act like she wanted to kill someone, that Terry would kill her. It doesn't make sense to me. And she said that she was just kidding when she said, let's kill her about Verna. I mean, but those tapes, it is so hard to argue that you were kidding when you have those tapes that are being played for everyone. So the verdict comes in and she's found guilty of solicitation for capital murder, and Wanda Holloway is sentenced to 15 years. But just a little snag. So a motion is filed for a new trial because a juror was disqualified because he was on probation for possession of cocaine. His name was Daniel Michael Enriquez. He was convicted of cocaine possession, and he did not disclose this in the beginning of the trial. So Wanda is set free, and when she gets out, she goes crazy. She fights back. She goes on every single interview that she can possibly get on. She's telling everybody I was set up, but then she goes on Donahue, and this is when the audience does not, like the audience is so against her. And Shanna went on that interview with her, and Shanna sits there next to her thinking that people were going to side more with her mother because Shanna's there. And they did not. That audience ripped Wanda apart. I gotta say though, Wanda took it like a champ. She actually asked the audience, why is it so easy for you to believe that I want someone killed, but not that I was set up? If I was in the Donahue audience that day, I would have stood up and I would have raised my hand. It would have been my big moment. I would be like, hi, yes, my name's Chrissy. It was because we all heard you say you wanted someone killed on an audio tape. Thank you. Love your show, Donahue. After all of this, Shanna's life takes a turn for the worse. Like she just didn't feel like she deserved to be here. Everything was falling apart and she lost herself. It was also at this time that her father, Tony, is trying to sell Shanna and her brother's rights to HBO. So in the divorce agreement, if Tony wanted to sell their rights, I don't know if they knew this was going to be a thing, but Wanda would also be required to agree to it. And Wanda's like, hell no, I don't want anyone making a movie about me or my two kids. So Tony actually takes Shanna out to dinner one night with his, quote, business associates. And while she's at this dinner, these guys are like ganging up on her. And they're like, tell us about your mom. Tell us this. And Shanna just like leaves the table, calls her mom. And this is when her and her mother end up getting a court-appointed lawyer and they settle this in court. So Wanda wanted nothing to do with the HBO movie. The judge actually chose HBO to make the movie, and they forced Shanna to sell her rights to the movie. The whole way that the movie rights thing went down, it does not make any sense to me. It is very confusing to me. I know that Shanna did get money for the movie and it was immediately put into a trust fund for her, but her father, Tony, thankfully, he didn't get anything. So she did score in that department. Okay, the movie, The Positively True Adventures of the Alleged Texas Cheerleader-Murdering Mom. So the movie ends up being a spoof on everyone. Every single person in that movie. They made a mockery out of the case. And those words came from the detective that arrested Wanda. He watched the movie and he was like, what the hell? They just made an entire mockery out of everything. Like, this is real stuff. So Shanna goes to the movie premiere. And she didn't understand what Black comedy was when she went. So she didn't understand why people were laughing at certain scenes, that this was her real life. Like, this wasn't funny when this happened in her real life. But the way that they filmed this movie, everyone's bust out laughing. And Shanna was just confused. She didn't want to be there. She really liked Holly Hunter and she wanted to meet her. And Holly's people came back to her and said, Holly doesn't want to meet you. And that just ripped Shanna apart because she thought, how embarrassing. Like, the main actress in this movie wants nothing to do with me. The whole movie's about me and my life, and she doesn't even want to come up to me and say hi. 5 years goes by. It's 1996. Wanda is finally sentenced to 10 years. But she took a plea deal, and by pleading no contest to this murder plot scheme, they said she would be out within 6 months, and she was. And then Wanda's probation was terminated after 5 years. She did complete 1,000 hours of community service. She did also settle a civil suit with Verna Heath for $150,000. In 2006, Terry Harper passed away at the age of 50, and when Shanna told Wanda that her uncle passed away, Wanda said, "Good. I hope he burns in hell." Shanna and Amber never spoke again. They used to be best friends, and they still had to attend the same high school after all of this happened, and they never spoke again. In the documentary, The Texas Cheerleader Murder Plot, Shanna says that at the time when all of this was happening, justice wasn't her concern. She just wanted her life to go back to normal. That was her main concern. And then she says it was just words that she, meaning her mother, had spoken in a very mean way. So Shanna says it was just words. I just want your opinion on this. If you guys want to leave me a message on Spotify, you can write in the comment section. You can talk to me on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok. What do you guys think about this being just words? And I want to leave you with the last thing that Wanda said about the situation and about the fact that her daughter was making a documentary about this case. When Shanna told her mother that she would be participating in this documentary, her mother said to her, "Why are you going to bring all that up again? Nobody got hurt except you." I must hear your thoughts on this case, you guys. And don't forget, stay safe and stay paranoid.